Hey there, it's Professor McDonald, and I'm going to read the testing procedure so that you can just have the added benefit of hearing the instructions in addition to reading them. And if you have any questions, make sure you let me know as soon as possible, as always. All right, so first of all, I put this together after we had our trial run today, and it was a little chaotic, mostly because of the audio issue and because some students were not prepared or didn't really know what they were supposed to do. And there were a lot of students that did an amazing job, and I was so proud and like appreciative of those students who totally had it together, who had read everything, and they ended up having to wait around for a long time for me to help everybody else before I could release the password. So I just want to say thank you to those students. Your efforts were appreciated and noticed. And I thank you again for all your patience and for just being helpful. A lot of you were very helpful during that time. So now these are the adjustments I decided on after that, things I think would make things go smoother for the real thing. So the first thing is we got to talk about what we do before class. We're going to talk about it in sections because it is a lot of information. And of course, we'll talk about all this again tomorrow morning. But the first thing is to set up your Zoom device and testing environment before class. You should not be getting set up during class. Like once it hits 8 o'clock, your Zoom stuff should all be taken care of so that we don't end up in a chaotic situation again like we did today, where I'm having to coach everybody on how to get set up. That's what the trial run was for, and I'm glad we did it because that was the point. But if that happens tomorrow, um, you may not be able to take the test or you may receive a deduction on the test. I don't know. We got to have some kind of consequence for not being ready because it just puts stress on the other students and holds everybody up unnecessarily. So please, please do your best to make sure everything is ready before class starts. And as far as the Zoom setup goes, your camera, the angle, making sure it's all the way it's supposed to be. You will be using your Zoom device only for capturing video. So your Zoom device will be set up to record you visually, and so you can hear me during the test. However, you will not be able to talk to me through Zoom, and you should have your mic muted. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to mute your microphone in Zoom so that nobody can hear you in Zoom, but you're going to turn the speaker volume on your device all the way up so that you can hear me when I'm speaking to the class. Then we'll be in class before the test begins. We're going to meet as usual in the Blackboard Collaborate class session. I'll take questions, explain the details about the test, and so on. Next, I will join you in the Zoom room and I'll begin checking everybody to make sure they're ready. And I'm hoping that goes very quickly because everybody will be ready. So I will call on each person. I'll ask you to show your workspace a little closer if necessary. Show me your calculator to make sure it's an approved model, your blank sheet of paper front and back. And so hopefully this doesn't take too long, but if it does, again, your patience is so very, very appreciated because this is really a lot to try to coordinate virtually, and everybody's doing the best they can, I think, I hope. At least we assume that. So when the time comes, I'll post the password in Collaborate because once you get set up on your Zoom device, I do not want you to touch I don't want you to have to touch your Zoom device ever again during the test. I want you to get it set up, get situated in your seat, and then only be focused on your computer from that moment on. So I will put the password in Collaborate. So you're going to remain in Collaborate after we've met for class. You're just going to keep that Collaborate session running. And then after I do the readiness check, I will type the password into the Collaborate chat so that you can read it and you don't have to worry about if you're hearing me correctly and any of that. During the test, audio of your testing environment will be captured by your computer in Collaborate. So you will enable your mic and mute your speakers. So that means I'm going to be able to hear you in the Blackboard Collaborate space, but you will turn your speakers down so that you don't have to hear anybody else and you don't have to hear me through that device. You're only going to ever hear me and only me, not any of your classmates. You should only hear my voice through the Zoom device during the test. Then, as I said, you'll remain in the Collaborate class session so I can hear you. You will hear my verbal instructions through Zoom. You will be able to communicate with me in written form in the Blackboard Collaborate class session. So if you feel like something's going wrong with the test, or you just have a question or something that you want to clarify and the test has already started, you can type into the Blackboard Collaborate class sessions chat room so that you can get help. It's just I'm going to try my best not to be speaking verbally unless it's absolutely necessary. Because I don't want to disrupt anybody once they start the test. You know, we want to do our best to keep the testing environment as quiet as possible for each person taking the test so you can concentrate. Finally, I will type the password into the Collaborate chat thread as I mentioned before, and the test will begin. You will have 75 minutes to work on the test from the moment you enter the password. So no matter how long it takes us to get going, once I give you that password, you will have a full 75 minutes to work on the test. In fact, you will really have 85 minutes because it goes into overtime for an extra 10 minutes. Remember to watch your time. Any questions submitted after the clock runs into overtime will receive a 10% deduction. So just be careful that if you submit a question before the due date, you know you're going to get full credit as long as it's correct. But if you wait till the clock runs out, you will be receiving a 10% deduction on any questions submitted after that. Remember that the first time you click check answer, if it is right, great, you receive full credit, but if it is wrong, you may correct it for half credit. So the reason I say that is because um, if you check the answer thinking that you're going to have another chance to get full credit, I wouldn't want you to do that and then end up getting half credit on everything. Think about your answer and check it the best you can before you submit it on the first try so that you can get full credit. If you submit it and it's wrong, at least you can have a shot at half credit on a second try. When you are finished, you may exit both sessions and begin working on your lesson 5 assignments. So I'm sure tomorrow you guys will want clarification on all this, but at least I hope you guys have read and listened and watched this video so that you have already in your mind the idea of what's supposed to happen, and I can just troubleshoot remaining questions before we get on our test tomorrow. So I'm really hoping for a very smooth process tomorrow, very calm and very effective. And so I thank you all for all your help in accomplishing that. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow.